Brian, we had a busy week. Most of our teams were on the road. Both our soccer teams had plenty of games away from campus, and we have a few standout performances to discuss. So let's get into it.
Absolutely, Michael, we do. We'll start with the women's team, which opened with a 4-1 victory at Elms College midweek. And I believe the number 2 all-time leading scorer, Laura Karash, still has a few games ahead of her, had her 2nd career hat trick and her 8th career multiple goal game, scoring 3 in a row. That's what we call a natural hat trick at Elms to get things going. On top of that, she had a goal and an assist at Bates in a 3-1 victory. Each time she got the game-winning goal. And the most amazing statistic to me is that over the 4 years that Laura has been on the team, and she did miss a few her freshman year due to injury, Wesleyan's won 22 contests with Laura in action. Of those 22 wins, Laura has the game-winning goal in 15 contests. That's just an amazing percentage. It's like 70% of the time. And she's obviously not 70% of the players on the field. So Laura just has a nose for the right goal at the right time. And we'll see, they did falter a bit at Colby, losing 2-0. But, you know, a 2-1 week, very respectable with 3 games on the road. They're 4-5-1 overall, 2-5 in the conference. Definitely looking at a playoff spot. Need a couple of wins, hopefully, against Trinity Con. Give Amherst a game, and we'll see where they go. Men's soccer's rolling. 7-game unbeaten streak, 5-0-2 in their last 7. Hasn't allowed a goal in over 5 games. Adam Purdy with 4 saves against Bates, recording his 6th shutout of the year, and then picked up his 7th at Colby with a 1-0 victory. Wesleyan scoring just enough to win. Low scoring is the norm in the NESCAC. Again, looking at the NESCAC standings, 9 of the NESCAC schools thus far this season in men's soccer average less than a goal a game allowed. So getting a 1-0 win, a 2-0 win is a bonus, getting that insurance goal. So Wesleyan getting a lot of strong play. I know head coach Jeff Wheeler said he started 5 freshmen in the Colby game because he knew he had back-to-back. So he brought a few kids up from the JV squad and used them quite well. A lot of depth on that team.
Great, and moving from the field inside to the courts, we had our volleyball team in action. It was a tough week for them, and finishing with a heartbreaking loss to Trinity. Take us through some of those games, Brian.
Well, they did lose 3-0 at Amherst. Unfortunately, I guess the team really didn't get rolling. Closest set up there was 25-18 in the middle set. Actually, the Trinity match was the opening match on Saturday. They finished with a 3-0 loss to Roger Williams. The most competitive one was the Trinity. And the team showed an amazing heart, losing pretty badly in the first set, coming back to win 28-26 in the second set. I believe Kate Centofanti had a couple of kills toward the end of that set that propelled the team away, and Jean McPhee had a set-winning ace to end that one. Then they seemed to have it rolling, momentum in their side. They took a 25-14 victory in the third set, but then Trinity took control, led from start to finish in the fourth set, and jumped out to a big lead in the 5th and deciding set. Actually had a 14-4 lead before winning 15-9. So I know the team is playing hard. I think Coach Gailacki is still trying to figure out exactly which setter is the exact stronghold for her. You know, Claire Larson has been pretty much the starter, but they're getting some good work from the freshman Beth Thornstrom. So at this point, they're looking for that kind of go-to person in the setting position, getting solid defense from the freshman Sophia Davila. So hopefully they find their stride.
Yeah, and the one home team that we had last week was men's tennis. Took on, I believe, Babson College. What happened in that match?
Well, the Cardinals dropped a 5-4 heartbreaker. They had led 2-1 after doubles, and Coach Freed was confident we would take at least 3 of the singles matches, but didn't quite go that way. Stephen Monk, the sophomore, did win his number 2 singles match in 3 sets, coming back after losing the first one. But the only other winner for the Cardinals, I believe, actually, was Charlie Seifer at number 6, and he took it in straight sets pretty handily. I think it was 6-4, 6-4, but Babson had beaten Nichols this year, I think 8-1, and Nichols had already beaten Wesleyan 5-4. So certainly didn't go in there expecting we were going to walk over Babson. Coach Mike Freed knew that they were pretty tough, and they just happened to gut it out and win that only home event all week for Wesleyan.
Yeah, moving to the water, a couple weeks ago we talked about the great performances from crew and cross country. This week it's just crew forming. They had some great performance both in men's and women's crew.
Right. The men repeated as champions of the Collegiate 8 for the non-IRA, the IRA being basically the Division I teams that go on to the national prominent competition. But they won it again. The last time they competed in the Housatonic down in Shelton was 2010. And interestingly enough, they had 2 boats entered that year and finished first and third. This year, they again finished first and third. The real confidence boost is that the number 2 boat in between the 2 Cardinal boats was Williams, and the number 4 boat was Coast Guard, and these are very traditional rivals for the men. So that's a very strong indication where the team is right now, and I think Coach Garney is still trying to feel his way through as to which. It's always tough with these head races. It's a longer distance than you do in the spring, and how you can judge from this point to where you really want to be at spring, what your boating should be, it's difficult to say, but I know Coach Garney uses it well to try and get an idea where to go. The women were a solid second in the Collegiate 8 again for non-Division I. Also had the 4th place boat. I believe there were 11 crews involved there. So again, solid efforts by both men's and women's crew down at the Housatonic, and they'll be off next week, and then it'll be the prestigious Head of the Charles the weekend of we'll be here for homecoming.
All right, and we're going to conclude our segment with you tonight with